Typically, nothing. That list for me is blank. Selling is some of the most fun that I've had in my entire life. Moving on to another one of the questions, and Mr. Gerber, our friend the attorney, will ask you this. What is the most important sale you ever closed? Okay, fine. Who's got the answer to what is, Eric, please, and then, go ahead.
Closing my wife.
Please stand up.
It was hard, yeah.
Would you repeat?
I got her to propose finally.
Okay, so would you say that again? What is the most important sale you ever closed?
Marriage.
How many in this room sitting here would agree that Eric hit the nail on the head? Is there anything that any of us can think of that is a more important transaction is not the most politically correct word, but I'm going to use it, that we ever secured? Now, there may be some people who might say, especially when one lives in the United States, that that particular sale that got closed may not have been the best decision I ever made, especially by the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, or 11th time, but that is correct. Yeah, well, some people, keep running that play till they get it right, like the football coach. So let's look at that for just a second. Before Eric came up with that answer, how many of you conceived of the thought of finding a mate and saying, please ask me to marry you, or will you marry me, or however the conversation went, as a selling situation? You're correct. What this teaches us is that pretty much of what we do through our daily lives and on a daily basis is selling. It's helping people to understand the benefits of a specific transaction or activity. It does not necessarily evolve or come around to strictly a monetary situation. How many of you have convinced someone to speak to someone in this room and closed a referral? Has that happened to any of you? Okay, have you given a referral to someone? Have you recommended someone in this room to somebody else? Okay, and they've responded positively and responded one way or the other. When that was over, how did you feel about that?
Happy.
Terrific. People getting the idea? Are you understanding that what we're doing here today, so they understand that the reasoning behind the game is to break down the walls that we've built around the concept that selling is negative, pejorative, bad, any of the above. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun when you allow it to be. Yes, Yogi, please.
One thing that I find difficult about selling is that I'm afraid that others will perceive me as mercenary. I'm trying to use our relationship to benefit monetarily. Can we address that issue today? Because it's a big stumbling block for me.
Sure. When you give a referral of your friend Aaron, who's a tour guide, is there any monetary benefit that accrues to you?
No, I think I'm doing kindness.
Okay, so you've done a mitzvah, you've done chesed because you've helped someone out.
Nothing to gain though, financially.
That's the whole point, is that selling is not necessarily about personal financial gain. But what you will find is this. When you give things away freely, and what you are giving away when you do that, something to guard very closely, is your reputation and your integrity as a human being. When you give that freely and on a daily basis, what you will find is that a lot more comes back to you, because people will perceive that you are looking out for their interests first. When you are helping someone to make a buying decision, that's exactly what you're doing. And when you don't believe that, join a religious order or any other order where you sit in a cell by yourself, because that's the reality of how human interaction has been from almost the dawn of history. Human interaction is helping to convince people in a positive manner as to the benefit of taking a given action. Now, there are certainly cases where that ability and skill has been used nefariously or inappropriately. Fundamentally, I believe that we're all here to help each other and to do what is in everyone's enlightened best interest. For some reason, the idea of selling has gotten a negative connotation. And that's one of the things we're going to try to break down. Who would like to tell us what their favorite book is? And did you bring your favorite book? Shimshon, please. What's that? Okay. Who else brought a book? What's your book?
This is a book called Mountain Light by a photographer named Galen Roll, who was one of my silent mentors. In other words, I never met him, but I learned a tremendous amount from him. He's also a brilliant writer. He's the first person that I encountered who was able to articulate a sort of photographic philosophy that I built my work on as I got to know him better.
All right, this is an extraordinarily long shot. Who in this room knows this gentleman? Does anybody in this room know this? Yes, please. I'm not talking about
the writer of the book?
I'm talking about the writer of the book. Who has an idea of how they might find the writer of this book? What we would like you to do is, when you find the writer of this book, is to contact that person. Yes. He's in the great beyond.
Findagrave.com. We'll find it.
I apologize profusely, but that suggestion is a dead end. Okay.
He's inspired many proteges, so.
Your opinion of our former president is not germane to the title of my favorite book, which is Giving. When you read this book, and when you understand the enormous amount of benefit that you can do in this world by giving to others, then you will understand the benefit of reading the book. One more book and we'll move on to some of the other items on our list. By the way, yes, please.
Unlimited Power by Anthony Robbins.
What's that?
Unlimited Power
By Anthony Robbins.
It's something that's heard me around.
Oh, cool.
Years ago.
Okay. How many of you brought your business cards? And I need your help for this question. I need everybody to pass me one of your business cards, please. How many of you brought business cards of your most valued contacts? Terrific. Now, what I would like you to do is to skip one person to your left. We'll go around the room. And I want you to give to, I'm going to change this slightly. What I'd like you to do is think of the 18 contacts you have. Think of someone in this room who will benefit the most from one of the cards you have and give it to that person. Now, what we're asking you to do is, in some ways, to give away your most valued asset, which may be your best client or the person whose relationship you value the most. What I'd like you to also do is, when you give that card to a person, please make a note of who you gave the card to. We'll take about a minute and a half to do this. Also, I need somebody who's keeping track of. We're about 18 and a half minutes in.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Close enough. All right, great. So take a couple minutes, find your most valued business card and contact, and give it to someone in this room. 10 days. Because you're going to have a one-on-one link up with the person to whom you gave the contact and discuss the contact that you got. Because what that will do is encourage people who are meeting people to have one-on-ones, to get together, and to begin to know each other more effectively. So that, oh, Charlie, anyway. Thanks. I know, it's fine. You know what? This isn't a video production, this is a game. Okay. How many of you have filled out your index cards? Okay, we're going to take...
Let's do one.
Okay. How many of you have filled out the one index card? Okay. Charlie, would you please stand up and read your card?
I already gave it to the person.
Okay. Who received the card?
Shimshon.
Shimshon would... Shimshon, where did you... Okay. Who else had filled out a card? That one's mine. Rachel, and who'd you give it to?
To Charlie.
You gave it to Charlie.
Yeah, now I gotta figure out which one to do.
What?
Okay. Charlie.